I think reframing can be a very useful strategy. So there's an idea in behavioral science that in many ways there's no such thing as an event. It's just our interpretations of it. There are a lot of other strategies that we can use when we're looking to make behavior change more likely, to make it easier, and to make it sustainable. What's really key is to try to change one thing at a time and let that embed, starting off small, making your goals a little bit shorter term, so you're actually getting the reward for achieving a goal. It's not just something that's happening years down the line. Make it even more of a rewarding experience. Some kind of public commitment to behavior change. So there are lots of little tricks that we can use there to make the behavior more likely to occur.
Absolutely. And if I can just give a little bit of context and example from myself, Nick, and then ask you a question. If I take running, for example, running something that I started doing maybe, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and I'd got to a point where, I'd gone up to 16.5 stone, which for me was a really heavy weight. And, over the years, I've been relatively fit, but it's not something that I've ever religiously stuck to. And the thing that made the change for me now, because now I'm really into my running, it's really helped me lose weight, and now I'm fitter than, I feel fitter and healthier than I ever have in my life. And the thing that really helped me get there was by my daughters, because in my family we've got a history of high blood pressure and heart disease, and I thought, with the best will in the world, I really want to see my daughters grow up. I was living, I wasn't living a particularly bad lifestyle, but I wasn't exercising, and nothing else was getting me there. But the thought of maybe not being around to see my daughters grow up is now the thing that I always think about. So every time I go for a run, I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm putting in the work now, so I will be there to walk my daughters down the aisle and to see my grandchildren and to have a great retirement with them. And I know it's so far off in the future, but that is the thing that has made the implementation stick. Whereas all the stuff before that, it just feels great in the moment, and they were never things that helped them stick long term. So I guess that's the preface to my question. And my question is why is it so important that we have goals that are really important to us, that have internal meaning? Because I'm guessing that with my example, that would go for anybody. If we can find a great meaning behind the goal that we have, we'll be far more likely to stick to it.
Yeah, and that's a really nice illustration of another finding in behavioral science, and that is that, first of all, we're more likely to stick to goals that are consistent with our values. So, excellent example you just gave there. And the opposite of that would be a goal that is more about pleasing other people, or more about what society says we should be doing. So in an approach called acceptance and commitment therapy, what clients are taught to do is to identify what's important to them. So what are their values? And there are lots of really interesting exercises for actually getting to the heart of that. And their behavioral goals are all set so that they are consistent with those values, because a goal is something you can achieve in a week's time. A value is there guiding you forever. So your value relates to you as a father, and that's something that will always be there. So it is essential that our goals are enabling us to live our lives in a way that's consistent with values.
Absolutely. And then, if there's anyone watching this that really has something they want to do, whether it be a short-term goal or a long-term goal, something really important to them, what other tangible takeaways might they be able to put into practice to really help them get there? I mean, you've given lots of great examples in this video. I just wondered if there's any more that people could go away and put into practice, Nick.
Well, I think given what we were just talking about in terms of values, it is a degree of reflection is often a good idea. Understanding why it is we want to achieve a particular thing, and as we've discussed, if that can be aligned with the person's values, whatever they might be, being a good father, being a good partner, being kind, being honest, being curious, you know, the list is endless. If they can make sure they're doing it for want of a better term, for the right reasons, for reasons that matter to them, then we know that they're more likely to be able to stick to it. And after that, it really is a case of using those behavioral strategies to make it happen. So start small, you know, really don't change more than one thing at a time, and only move to the next new thing you want to change when the first new desired behavior has become part of your everyday routine. So linked with that is, we talked in another session about using anchor activities as a way of making new desired behaviors happen. So going for a run after having had your first coffee of the morning, or after closing the computer at 5 p.m, then I will go for a run, and writing that down, chaining those behaviors together. Reducing response effort, so making sure all your kit's ready, you know, everything. If you're driving to the place that you run, there's petrol in the car, so everything goes smoothly in that way. Some kind of monitoring, so we know there's a phenomenon called reactivity. If you monitor your progress towards achieving a goal, you're far more likely to achieve it. So monitor it, and monitoring doesn't have to be an elaborate graph. It can be, I personally use these strategies to improve certain behaviors. And my approach is an A4 piece of paper, handwritten graph where I just tick things off, and I put it on the fridge, because that's something that I'm looking at every day. So it's a way of monitoring progress, but it acts as a prompt as well. And it's next to my commitment, whatever that behavior is that I want to change. And then remembering to get that social support. So that can be people asking you how it's going. Tell a friend, I want you to check in on me. Every Friday when we go out for a beer, ask me, have I exercised?
I love it, Nick. Absolutely brilliant. So, well, thank you so much for your time today, Nick. I know the people watching this really appreciate it. So thank you very much from the Success Mindset YouTube channel for watching this video with Nick Barratt. Go out and make your life a masterpiece and execute on what you need to do. Thank you very much.